So good morning, everybody. I really hope you're well. This is our final macro talk that I've been doing over the last 3 weeks. So we looked at carbs, we've looked at protein, we are now looking at fats. Understanding fat, dietary fat within the diet, and how and why to increase your uptake from here. So over the years, certainly when I first started into the industry 26 years ago, it was all about low fat diets, don't eat fat, fat's bad for you, yada, 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 yada. And to a degree, certain fats absolutely are. You need to understand the difference between the two types of fat you might be consuming and why dietary fat from your polyunsaturated fats is super, super important. So your body needs dietary fat, an irregular intake of dietary fat with regards to it's essential for maintaining overall good health, especially if you are at a slightly older age, okay? It's absolutely vital. Fat helps to give your body energy. It protects your organs, it supports cellular growth, it keeps your cholesterol and your blood pressure under control. So a lot of people think, oh no, I can't eat fat because I've got high cholesterol. Actually, you really do need to eat fat if you've got high cholesterol. And what you don't need to eat is simple carbohydrates that are very heavily sugared. It also helps to absorb certain nutrients. So things like vitamin E, vitamin A are fat-soluble vitamins. If you're looking at any vitamins in detail and it says it's fat-soluble, they need fat in the diet to be able to be absorbed. So you need that. Diets that focus on cutting out too much fat actually deprive the body of what it needs the most. So we need to understand the role of fats that they play and look at two types of fats. Okay, so we're looking at saturated and unsaturated. There is a third, which is trans fat, which comes under saturated. So saturated trans fat is the bad fat. It's primarily found in animal products, which are very high in fatty foods like pork. So like your bacon, your sausages, pork meat isn't great in there. It's also found in kind of high fat dairy foods like margarine, like cream, like cheese. And high amounts of that saturated fat can also be found in lots of processed food, baked foods like pizzas, desserts, hamburgers, cookies, biscuits, pastries. These fats tend to be more solid, think lard, than the healthier fats, which tend to be kind of more oils. So when you're thinking about your trans fats, it's anything that's fried food, and it will be essentially fried in like, heavy fats, like your, vegetable oils and things like that, which aren't great, or lard. You want to not have those. Unsaturated fats are the most healthy kind, and there are two types of unsaturated. You've got your monounsaturated and you've got your polyunsaturated. Monounsaturated fats are fats found in things like avocado, peanut butter, nuts, or your nuts like almonds, hazelnuts, cashews, pecans, and your seeds, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, sunflower seeds. It's plant oils, anything that comes from like your plant oils and olives, peanuts, safflower, sesame, all of those are high in your monounsaturated. Polyunsaturated fats are included in your omega-3 fatty acids and your omega-6 fatty acids. They also can be found in some of your plant-based oils like soybean, corn, safflower oils. They are abundant in things like walnuts, flax seeds, sunflower seeds, and fish, oily fish, very, very high in your omegas. So your salmon, your mackerel, herring, tuna, trout, all of these really, really good foods. The main health issue with dietary fat is that how they influence cholesterol levels. Consuming high amounts of saturated fat produces more LDL. So these are the bad cholesterol, which can form plaque in your arteries and increase your risk of cardiovascular disease and stroke if you think they clog up. So your high levels of saturated fat cause your arteries to clog. So many processed foods are made with saturated fats. They contain really high amounts of calories, which obviously can lead to weight gain and increase the risk of coronary heart disease. Your unsaturated fats help to raise your HDL, which is your good cholesterol. So people always assume when they hear cholesterol, they think it's bad, but there's levels of cholesterol. Your LDL is your bad. Your HDL is your good cholesterol, and the HDL will actually pick up excess LDL in the blood and it will move it to the liver where it's broken down and it's got rid of. So you actually really need high levels or good levels of HDL cholesterol. So when you have your cholesterol markers done, if someone says, oh, you've got high cholesterol, you need to find out what they mean by high cholesterol. Do they mean HDL or do they mean LDL? If it's HDL, that's a good thing. You need that HDL to pick up excess LDL and move it to the liver so it can be got rid of. You want high HDL to LDL ratio. So the LDL wants to be low, think L low. HDL, think high. You want that increased in there. So it's just really important that you think about your fats, that actually eating the good fats are not going to make you fat. The other thing that these good fats do, your monounsaturated and your polyunsaturated fats, is they feed your brain. So they actually give your brain health and function. So there's been studies that have actually been done by Mind, which have actually associated people who follow their Mind diet are at a lower risk of things like Alzheimer's. The Mind diet advocates eating 10 or more certain foods, which kind of like have high levels of good fats. So your nuts, your fatty fish, your olive oils, while you reduce the amount of processed cheese, excess, fried food, pastries, excess pork, sausages, things like that from there. So we want to absolutely increase the amount of good fats in our diet to help to support not only our organs, they also give us our insulation, so it's going to make you feel warm, but it also helps with your energy and it helps with your brain power. So if you take anything from this talk today, I want you to know that it is super, super important to increase those monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. From a woman hormonal point of view, absolutely, you need to increase your fat to support you hormonally. And it's making sure that you are getting these good fats in your diet on a regular basis and trying to get them in every single meal. So when I did the talk on protein, I talked about getting protein in and focusing on your protein with every meal that you have. Get the protein right first. Once you've got the protein right, fats also kind of come into play. But protein should be your first point of call and then fats secondly. So in your morning, your morning meal, whether you call that breakfast or meal one or whatever you call it, think about how you can increase your good fats. So could you add nuts or seeds into your meal one? Could you add in extra virgin olive oil into your meal one? Eggs have got the good fats in them as well. So could you add eggs into your meal one? When you're having your meal two or your lunch, could we add in some of these fatty fish? Salmon, mackerel, trout, herring, tuna, add them into our meal two with also maybe avocado, olives. Maybe we could add in some, again, oils in there, which are going to be beneficial for us. Maybe adding in some seeds or some nuts as well. And then for our evening meal, could we add in, again, our good fats into our diet? So thinking about adding in maybe, again, good sources of these good fats, our monounsaturated or our polyunsaturated. Again, adding in as much fish as we possibly can, but also adding in different oils. Maybe thinking about, if you're having a salad, have a drizzle of these oils on them, or popping in walnuts into your meals as well. Maybe adding cashew nuts if you're making a stir fry. All of these things are going to be really, really important, and reducing down the amount of trans fats and saturated fats that we are consuming. Reducing down the amount of excess processed cheese or processed meats that you're eating, the biscuits, the cakes, the pastries, anything that's kind of cooked with this excess amount of saturated fat. Reducing down the amount of processed food that you are consuming that's been made by somebody else, where you don't know what's actually in it, is going to be very beneficial for you. So don't be scared of eating good fats. If you're on the Body Transformation Program, we are big pros of the good fats. We know that they're there to support you, and we need them in our diet every single day. We need them in every single meal. So if you have any questions about your fats, please let me know. Otherwise, the way you increase it is you think about every single meal you have and try and add some good fats into every single meal that you have, even if that you are not actually having it within the meal, but maybe as a snack afterwards. If you are somebody who feels like they need to have something for pudding rather than having something, processed or sweet, having, again, a handful of nuts, or maybe having some, I'm a big fan now of kind of having like a pudding of an apple with some peanut butter and having that as my kind of afters of my meal. So going for that instead as well. Upping olives, olive oil, and like I said, as much fatty fish as you possibly can. Don't be afraid of having eggs. These are good sources of fats as well for you. It's going to help you with your brain health. It's going to help you with your internal organs. It's going to help you with your energy as well as your hormonal health. So any questions, let me know. But I wanted to make that really, really easy for you to digest, pardon the pun, so that you can move forward making the right choices for your health. Any questions, post below. Thanks so much, gang.